function overriding and invocation of such functions present in base class from the object of a child class. So these are the objective of today's learning. Before starting with the main concept, that is inheritance, there is some pre-knowledge about this concept. As you all know that C++ is object-oriented programming language, and each object-oriented languages have some principles and characteristics. So before inheritance, you must know that there is something called object. An object is the instance of a class. It is a memory placeholder which may store values and perform action and such values as per definition of its class. So dear students, in such languages, the software program is divided into small modules, and the calling of properties, the setting of properties and calling of functions are based on the special procedure which is known as object. We have to create object, and then we have to set some properties, and then we call the functions for their functionings. All the objects are based on their blueprint, which is known as class. The second point is class. A class is a blueprint of an object. Each class has some members, variable defining its state, and methods, functions defining its behavior. Here, my dear students, class defines a structure where the properties are defined to store some values which define the state of an object. And each class contains numerous methods which are working on those properties, those variables, and display or provide desired output. The next important thing you must know before inheritance is the scope of the members of a class.
Excuse me, sir.
Every class having a different sections of its properties and functionalities.
सर
Yes, sir.
आपके स्लाइड के ऊपर एक छोटा सा स्क्रीन आ रहा होगा, उसको बंद कर दीजिए सर.
आपका स्क्रीन सर? Yes, sir.
हाँ
Okay,
जी.
sir.
Yes, go on, sir.
So the scope of the members of a class may be public, private, protected. Public members are accessible from everywhere. Private members are only accessible within a class, and the protected member accessible within their class as well as in from their child class. I also came later on these scopes when we study about something about inheritance. Now, going towards the next concept, that is inheritance. Class. Here is an example. Each class, as I said earlier, having a three sections, maybe having a three sections: private, protected, and public. So the private section contains the members which are only visible within the class only. Protected members, protected section contains such members which are accessible within the class as well as the child class. And the public method contains such properties, such functions which may be called from any of the location, whether it is an object, whether within a class, or whether it is a child class. Class is just a blueprint. If we want to execute the functionality of a class, we have to create an object. So, object of a class can be created by this statement, that is class name and the object name mystr. Here I have written an instance created with the name of mystr with the default constructor. With the help of object, we are able to call only public method of a class. So I can make a call to setString method because setString method is in public section. I can make a call to get length method from my str, because get length method is also defined in a public section. I cannot make a call to the transform method. So this statement is wrong. My str dot transform. This statement is wrong. Transform is written in the protected section. एक और एग्जांपल में अगर हम देखें तो नेक्स्ट जो ऑब्जेक्ट है दैट इज obj_str स्ट्रिंग क्लास से कंस्ट्रक्टर से इनिशियलाइज हुआ एक्सटेंडेबिलिटी इसमें मैंने पास किया है, तो यहाँ पे पैरामीटराइज कंस्ट्रक्टर है. अगेन दिस पर्टिकुलर ऑब्जेक्ट कैन आल्सो कॉल ओनली पब्लिक मेथड. तो मैं यहाँ पे ऐसा कॉल कर सक रहा हूँ obj_str.toUpper obj_str.getString, और इस चीज का जो है कॉल तभी पॉसिबल हो पा रहा है क्योंकि ये उसके पब्लिक सेक्शन में लिखे गए हैं. ऐसी स्टेटमेंट हम नहीं लिख सकते obj_str.str because str is a private member of a class. So here str is a private member of a class, so I cannot write such statement in my programs. So this is the revision before inheritance, that we have a something called class, and each class contain various properties which may be written in a public, protected, or a private section. Now comes to the next section, that is inheritance. Before going to the inheritance, we all know that there is a law of heredity. In real time, every child inherits some properties or functionality, behavior of his or her father, or his or her from his or her mother. This hierarchy keeps going on upwards. Father also have some behavior from his father, that's a guarantor of a child, and same situation may also with the mother. So as the real time scenario, each new thing gets some characteristics and behavior from the older one. In software programming, we can also create a new block of statements which may be the extendability of existing block. ऐसा कोड जो ऑलरेडी हमारे पास बना हुआ है, उस पर्टिकुलर कोड से हम कुछ नया चीज अगर बनाना चाहते हैं तो सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री में भी, सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोग्रामिंग में भी ये पॉसिबल है, और दैट इज द नोन एज द कंसेप्ट ऑफ inheritance. That is the inheritance. So the first statement, the capability of a class to derive properties, characteristics, and functionality from another class is called inheritance. So the main concept is the capability of a new class. एक नया क्लास बन रही है, वो बेस्ड है किसी एग्जिस्टिंग क्लास से. एग्जिस्टिंग क्लास की प्रॉपर्टीज, एग्जिस्टिंग क्लास की फंक्शनलिटीज को वो एज इट इज एक्सटेंड करके कुछ नया बन रही है, तो जो इसी तरह के स्ट्रक्चर को हम इनहेरिटेंस कहते हैं. द न्यूअर वन इनहेरिट सम प्रॉपर्टीज एंड फंक्शनलिटीज ऑफ ओल्डर वन. हियर existing class which provide its properties and functionality to extend is known as base or a parent class. New class which inherits the properties and functionalities of existing class is known as derived or child class. So इस particular structure में जो class properties provide करेंगी, that is known as base class or parent class. और ऐसा स्ट्रक्चर या ऐसा ब्लॉक ऑफ स्टेटमेंट जो क्लास उन पर्टिकुलर प्रॉपर्टीज और फंक्शनलिटी को कंज्यूम करेगी, उसे हम या तो चाइल्ड क्लास कहते हैं या हम कहते हैं उसको डिराइव्ड क्लास. सो दिस इज द इनहेरिटेंस. नेक्स्ट कंसेप्ट इज टाइप्स ऑफ इनहेरिटेंस. व्हाट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ इनहेरिटेंस और व्हाट आर द वेज अ पेरेंट क्लास may be inherited or extend in a child class. The first one is single level, when there is only one parent and there is only one child. जब वहां पे सिर्फ एक पेरेंट है और सिर्फ एक चाइल्ड है, इस चीज को हम सिंगल लेवल इनहेरिटेंस कहते हैं. नेक्स्ट वन, मल्टी लेवल इनहेरिटेंस, when a child inherits or extend from the class which is also a child of another class, then such type of inheritance is known as multi-level inheritance. There is a parent having a child, child also having another child, then it is known as a multi-level inheritance. And the next one is multiple level, multiple inheritance. When a child contains having a parents more than one, two or more than two parents. Here, a new class child having a parent base 1 as well as base 2. So it is known as multiple level inheritance. Next is hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical, where a single parent have more than one child. जब आपके पास एक ही लेवल पे एक से ज्यादा चाइल्ड है किसी एक पेरेंट के अंडर, then such type of inheritance is known as hierarchical inheritance. Here, base class having a two child class, child 1 and child 2. Next one is hybrid inheritance. In hybrid inheritance, there is a collection of displaying our previous types of inheritance. Here in the upper section, where base 1 is a parent, base 2 and base 3 is the child of base 1, then it is known as hierarchical inheritance. In the bottom part, base 2 and base 3 is the parent, child is the common child of the base 2 and base 3. So it is displaying the concept of multiple inheritance. So the hybrid inheritance contains one or more features of earlier types of inheritance. It is known as hybrid inheritance. In nutshell, we have total 5 type of inheritance. सिंगल इनहेरिटेंस जब एक पेरेंट है और एक चाइल्ड है, मल्टीपल इनहेरिटेंस जब आपके पास दो पेरेंट्स हैं, दो या दो से ज्यादा पेरेंट्स हैं और उनका एक ही चाइल्ड है, हायरार्किकल इनहेरिटेंस जब आपके पास एक पेरेंट है और एक सिबलिंग, मतलब मल्टीपल आपके पास चाइल्ड हैं, सिबलिंग्स हैं, वो एक ही लेवल पे वो मल्टीपल चाइल्ड क्लासेस एग्जिस्ट कर रही हैं, दैट इज नोन एज हायरार्किकल इनहेरिटेंस. मल्टी लेवल इनहेरिटेंस when there is a multi-level level of extendability, when a B class have a child as well as parent, then such inheritance is known as multi-level inheritance. And the last one is hybrid inheritance. Next, how in C++ we can extend the relationship from the parent class to the child class. We have a syntax: class, the name of the child class, colon, we have to write access mode with parent class name, comma, again access mode, again parent class name. It is the list may be going on as per the requirement, but at least one parent class must be exist. And then there is a block of statement of the child class where the functioning of child class has to be written. Here, access modes are again same: private, protected, public. As you know that if in C++, if a class in a class or at the time of inheritance, if programmer doesn't mention any of the given access mode, that is private, protected and public, by default protected member, it is assumed that the member or the inheritance is private in nature. By default the access mode is private in C++. Here is an example. I have a class parent having a member skin color as a protected and having two methods, set skins color and get skins color, as a public. So this is a class and I want to extend the functionality of this parent class to the newer one so that these functions or properties may be used by the newer one. So I have to write a new class, class child, access mode, that is public. The name of the parent class. The name of the parent class is parent. So I write here parent. So the class child inherits the functionality of parent class publicly. The mode is publicly. And the child class may have its own some properties and functionality like that. Here, private property, weight and function set weight and get weight. So, dear students, child class having one property weight and one property of its parent, that is skin color, and two methods. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yes, sir.
one question is coming from a learner,
Answer.
and her name is Asha from UP.
Okay, sir.
Sir, she is asking if access mode not given while
Okay.
inheritance, what will be the default mode?
Okay, sir. As the one of the student asked the question, what is the mode if programmer doesn't mention here a public word before parent, nothing has mentioned before the parent class, then the by default the mode is private. By default, in every section in a C++, if mode is not mentioned, then the default mode is private by default.
And one more question is coming, sir.
Yes, sir.
Differentiate between private and protected mode.
Yeah, definitely. In coming slides, I am going to explain the concept difference between what is the difference between using protected mode and what is the difference between private mode. It is coming. It is in the coming slides.
Okay, sir.
The newer class child having a property weight and do method set weight and get weight, as well as set skin and get skin to methods of a parent class and skin color of the property of the parent class. And the question is, why implement inheritance in programming? Why? What is the purpose? Or in examination, this question may be asked like that: what is the advantages? What are the advantages of the using inheritance in C++? So the first one and the foremost important advantage is using extendability of existing code. We have a code already written in some class, and we want to use that code as it is, as in a newer class with newer functionality. So inheritance is helpful in such a way. Reusability of code, सेम तरह के कोड को हम बार बार यूज कर सकते हैं, एक बार लिखा है उसको हम बार बार उसको कॉल करके यूज कर सकते हैं. मेंटेन वर्जन्स ऑफ एंटिटी, वन ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. कोई एक क्लास है जो अपना पूरा काम हमने लिखा है, वो अपने आप में पूरी तरह से पूरी है, वो काम कर रही है, उसकी अपनी कुछ प्रॉपर्टीज हैं, कुछ फंक्शंस हैं, वो सही है. हमें उसमें कुछ एडवांसमेंट करके नया कुछ बनाना है, तो हम पुरानी वाली को नहीं बदलेंगे, हम उसके बाद नया एक और क्लास बनाएंगे और पुरानी वाली क्लास को एज इट इज एक्सटेंड कर लेंगे, इनहेरिट कर लेंगे, जिससे कि पुराना जो वर्किंग है वो एज इट इज चलता रहेगा और नया वर्किंग, नई जो क्लास बनी है उसके हिसाब से वो पुराने को भी इंक्लूड करेगा और नया जो उसमें मेंशन कर रहा होगा वो नई क्लास में हम उसको लिखेंगे. तो इस तरह से हम डिफरेंट क्लास जो बनती हैं, एंटिटीज बनती हैं, उनके वर्जन्स को मेंटेन करते हैं. And also it helps in generalization of a software. जो हमारी क्लासेस के हायरार्की बनती है उसको भी वो हमें हेल्प करते हैं हमारे सॉफ्टवेयर को जनरलाइज टू स्पेसिफाई करने के रूप में. The question asked by the student that what is the difference between private and protected. So the question between the private and protected has to be clearly mentioned with two ways. The first one is access mode and the scope of class member. What is the role of the access mode in within a class? When we are defining a members and functions, what is the access? What is the purpose of defining different access modes? Okay, so here we are having a three modes: private, protected, and public. And private member of a class, any class, may be accessible within a class, but cannot access in a child class. They are not inherited to the child class and cannot call from the object of a class. The members of the protected class are accessible within a class. They are also accessible in a child class, but they are not accessible from the object of a class. वो object से कभी call नहीं हो पाएंगे. Public members ऐसे members हैं, they are accessible within a class, they are also accessible from the derived class, and they are also accessible from the object of a class. So anything which is to be accessible from anywhere must be written under the section public. So the first difference between private and protected is when the members declared in a class is private members are only accessible within a class. Protected members are accessible within a class as well as they are shifted to the child class also. They can be accessible from the functions of child class also. The first difference between private and protected is this. So private is used for data hiding. Anything which has to be hidden from the outer world, we must be written under the section private. Protected, extendability. Anything which we want to extend to the newer one but not to the object of a class, then such thing must be written under the protected section. And the public, accessible from everywhere. Anything public कहीं से भी restricted नहीं है, वो कहीं से भी आपका कॉल हो सकता है. तो ये जो पर्टिकुलर स्लाइड है, ये पर्पस आपका सॉल्व कर रहा है कि अगर कोई मेंबर क्लास के अंदर डिफाइंड है तो डिफरेंट सेक्शंस में उसका क्या नेचर रहेगा जब कभी उसका कोड एग्जीक्यूट होगा. द नेक्स्ट इज एक्सेस मोड एंड इनहेरिटेंस. जैसा कि हमने सिंटैक्स में देखा है पहले कि जब भी कभी नई क्लास बनेगी तो क्लास अपने किसी पेरेंट को कॉल करती है और साथ में कॉल करती है एक्सेस मोड को, और अगर एक्सेस मोड नहीं दिया गया है तो बाय डिफॉल्ट वो प्राइवेट होता है. तो यहाँ कोई ना कोई मोड है. इस मोड को यहाँ लिखने से क्या फर्क पड़ता है जब हम इनहेरिटेंस करते हैं. द एक्सेस मोड दैट इज पब्लिक, प्राइवेट, प्रोटेक्टेड गिवन एट द टाइम ऑफ इनहेरिटेंस may change the scope of members of a parent class to child class. So the mode defined at the time of inheritance is actually changing the nature of the variables defined in the parent class. The important point is private members of a parent class never accessible in a child class. You have to remind this point. आपको इसको ध्यान से अपने दिमाग पे रखना है कि पेरेंट क्लास के जो प्राइवेट मेंबर्स हैं वो डायरेक्टली अपने चाइल्ड क्लास को नहीं मिलेंगे. तो प्राइवेट सेक्शन नेवर इनहेरिटेड टू द चाइल्ड क्लास डायरेक्टली वो चीज accessible नहीं हो पाती. Okay, now we are going to see what the effect of the private, protected, public words written at the time of inheritance. So here in a table, in upper section, private, protected, public are the mode used at the time of inheritance here, and private, protected, public, these are the member of the these are the characteristics or access mode of the properties of a parent class. So when the user inherit the parent class with the private access mode, then private members are not accessible always. The protected member of the parent class become private, and the public members of the parent class also become private in nature. When the inheritance is protected, again private members are not accessible, but protected members remain protected and public members converted into the protected nature. And if the inheritance is of public nature, then again privates are not accessible, but protected remain protected and public remain public. That means the mode of the parent class remain as it is at the time as it is defined in their definition. So here private अगर inheritance हुआ है तो प्रोटेक्टेड वेरिएबल पेरेंट क्लास के प्राइवेट हो जाएंगे, पब्लिक मेथड भी प्राइवेट हो जाएंगे. अगर प्रोटेक्टेड किया है इनहेरिटेंस के टाइम पे यूज तो प्रोटेक्टेड मेंबर तो प्रोटेक्टेड ही रहेंगे, लेकिन पब्लिक मेंबर्स जो हैं वो भी प्रोटेक्टेड हो जाएंगे. और अगर आपने पब्लिक मोड यूज किया है इनहेरिटेंस के टाइम पे, तो जैसा एक्सेस मोड प्रॉपर्टीज का पेरेंट क्लास के था, वैसा ही एक्सेस मोड चाइल्ड क्लास के पास रहेगा। प्रोटेक्टेड ही रहेंगे और पब्लिक ही रहेंगे। एग्जाम्पल्स के साथ इन चीजों को देखते हैं। लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड अगेन द कंसेप्ट। हियर I made a class A, here having a int A data member in a private section, int X data member in a protected section, and two methods input and output in a public section. And newer class B is written, which inherit the existing class A with public mode. So that class also has some members, int B, int Y as a public, private and a protected, and a function display as a public. So here inheritance is public, and we read earlier that अगर inheritance public है तो private not accessible होंगे, protected member protected section में ही रहेंगे और public member आपके public section में रहेंगे. So the class B must be changed accordingly. Here the data member X, which is written in protected section, comes under the protected section of the child class, and public method written in public section of the method input and output written in public section comes under the public section of the child class. So the child class has now these type of members after the inheritance: B as a private, Y and X as a protected. Y is a member of current class and X is the member of parent class. And public three methods: display, input and output. Display is the method of current class, input and output is the public method of the parent class. So if the inheritance is a public in nature, then the properties of the parent class remain in the same scope where they are defined in the parent class. The next, when the inheritance is protected, जब आपका inheritance protected रहेगा तब, ऐसे केस में हमने देखा है कि अगर मोड प्रोटेक्टेड रहता है तो प्राइवेट नॉट असेसेबल, प्रोटेक्टेड मेंबर रिमेन प्रोटेक्टेड एंड पब्लिक मेंबर कन्वर्टेड इनटू प्रोटेक्टेड scenario. So here if the inheritance is protected, then in a protected section of a child class, here the protected section of the child class, the protected member of the parent class, that is X, has to become to that section because protected remain protected. The public members of the parent class, input and output, now they does not remain in a public section because inheritance is protected. So they comes under the protected section of the B class, that is a child class. So this is the difference if the inheritance is written protected, not public. And the last, if the inheritance is private in nature, अगर इनहेरिटेंस करते वक्त आपने वहां पे प्राइवेट वर्ड लिखा है तो क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? तो हमने देखा है कि अगर प्राइवेट वर्ड लिखा है तो पेरेंट क्लास के प्राइवेट जो है वो एक्सेसिबल नहीं होंगे, प्रोटेक्टेड मेथड्स प्राइवेट हो जाएंगे, पब्लिक भी प्रॉपर्टीज जो है वो आपकी प्राइवेट हो जाएंगी. सो अब मेरी इस इनहेरिटेंस में क्लास बी का जो लिखने का तरीका है वो कुछ ऐसा हो जाएगा. प्रोटेक्टेड को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, पब्लिक को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, क्योंकि एक आपकी क्लास जो इनहेरिट हो रही है पेरेंट क्लास वो प्राइवेट नेचर से हो रही है. तो प्रोटेक्टेड सेक्शन और पब्लिक सेक्शन ऑफ द पेरेंट क्लास बिकम प्राइवेट सेक्शन इन अ child class. So X variable of a parent class come under the private section of the B class and the input and output method of the public section comes into the private section of the B class. So students, this is one of the important point to remember. आपको ध्यान रखना है इनहेरिटेंस कैसी हुई है, पब्लिक, प्राइवेट, प्रोटेक्टेड. अगर पब्लिक हुई है तो एक्सेस मोड्स कोई बदल नहीं रहे हैं, अगर प्रोटेक्टेड हुई है तो प्रोटेक्टेड मोड ही रहेगा, लेकिन पब्लिक मोड के मेंबर्स प्रोटेक्टेड मोड में आ जाएंगे. अगर इनहेरिटेंस प्राइवेट हुई है तो आपके पब्लिक और प्राइवेट जो दोनों तरह के जो मोड हैं पेरेंट क्लास के वो चाइल्ड क्लास में प्राइवेट नेचर के हो जाएंगे. Next, another question which may be asked in the examination: how to calculate the size of an object of a class which is a child class? Okay, a size of an object in C++. A derived class is nothing but a base class plus member declared in a derived class. तो हमने अभी तक देखा है सारा सिंटैक्स और एग्जांपल्स कि चाइल्ड क्लास एक्चुअली क्या है. चाइल्ड क्लास के पास अपने जितने भी मेथड और वेरिएबल्स हैं प्लस अपने पेरेंट के भी जितने मेथड और वेरिएबल है उनका सम है. So the size of an object of a child class is sum of the size of all the data members of the child class plus parent class. जो साइज आपके पेरेंट क्लास का बनता है वो प्लस अपने जितने भी डाटा मेंबर है उनका जो साइज है उनको एडिशन करके जो आएगा दैट इज द साइज ऑफ एन ऑब्जेक्ट. हम एक एग्जांपल देखते हैं इसमें कि we have a class A here and class A has a two variables int A and int X. So int is a 2-byte data type. So the size of A is 2 and the size of X is also 2. So the size of an object of a class A is int A 2-byte, int X 2-byte. So the size of the object of a class is 4-byte. But if a new class, that is B, is inherited from the class A, then what is the size of class B? So here we have to calculate the size, sum of the size of all the variables of the class. Here 2-byte and here char is 1-byte and arrays of 20 bytes. So 20 multiplied by 1, the size is 20 bytes. So the size of the child class is 22. But the object of the child class doesn't define that the size of the object is only 22. It has a properties of parent class too. So the size of a object of a child class must be calculated like that. Size of a parent class, that is 4-byte. Size of a one member, that is a 2-byte. Size of another member, that is 20-byte. Sum of all the values, that is 20 plus 2 plus 4 becomes 26. So the size of the child class, object of a child class, is 26 bytes. You have to consider private members of a parent class also for calculating the size of an object of a child class. Next important part of the question is order of execution of constructor and destructor. As we know, students, that I assume that you already know that a class contains special methods, constructor and destructors, where constructors are used to initialize the data member of a class and destructors are used to deinitialize the data member of a class. And one of the another main property of these functions are constructors automatically called whenever object is created, and destructors are automatically called by the compiler at the time of deletion of an object or when the object goes out of scope. So in inheritance, the question is if there is a class A is a parent and a class B is a child, and we create an object of child B, then which class executes its constructor first? So the rule is generally base class constructors are called first and the derived class constructors are called next. So the first chance is given to the constructor of a base class and then the constructor of a child class execute. And on the other hand, destructor is called in reverse sequence of constructor invocation, that is destructor of the derived class is called first and the destructor of the base class is called next. Invocation of constructor and destructor also depend on the type of inheritance being implemented. तो कंस्ट्रक्टर और डिस्ट्रक्टर का जो कॉलिंग है ये इस पे भी डिपेंड करता है कि आपकी इनहेरिटेंस किस तरीके की होगी. जनरली मल्टीपल इनहेरिटेंस या हाइब्रिड इनहेरिटेंस के केस में कि आपने किस तरह से अपना इनहेरिटेंस का स्ट्रक्चर लिखा है उसके हिसाब से भी ऑर्डर ऑफ द एग्जीक्यूशन ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्टर एज वेल एज डिस्ट्रक्टर वेरी करता है. हम आने वाली स्लाइड में इसको देखेंगे कि किस तरीके से इसको हमने कैलकुलेट करना है, हमने पता करना है. So I take the first example here. The type of inheritance is single level inheritance. Only one parent is here, base, and only one child is here, derived. So base have a constructor and as a destructor, and child also have a constructor and a destructor. So I create an object derived D, and when this program execute, so the constructor automatically called whenever the object called. So we have read earlier that the constructor of a base class get executed at first, and then the constructor of derived class. So according to this rule, the output of this program should be base class constructor. The first statement that should be printed is base class constructor. That is written in the constructor of a base class. The first statement is this. Then chance is given to the derived class constructor, and then chance, there is no other class here. So when the program finishes its execution, then there is a chance for the execution of a destructor. So the first chance given to the child class. So the answer is derived class destructor and then base class destructor. So constructors comes from parent to child, and destructors comes from child to parent. So this is the thumb rule. I also take another example where I use multiple inheritance. Here there are two classes, base 1 and base 2. They are independent classes, and another class derived is there. Derived class having a members base 2 and base 1, inherited two classes. So in multiple inheritance, we have to check that which class is inherited first. So here invocation depends on the order of how the base is inherited, how the parent class is inherited. किस तरीके से parent class को आपने inherit किया है, इसके ऊपर order of execution depend करता है. यहाँ पे हमने पहले base 1 बनाई है, फिर base 2 बनाई है, लेकिन inherit करते वक्त पहले मैंने base 2 को inherit किया है, फिर मैंने base 1 को inherit किया है. तो सबसे पहले जिसका कंस्ट्रक्टर कॉल होगा उस क्लास का होगा जिसका सबसे पहले इनहेरिटेंस हुआ है. तो फर्स्ट वन इज बेस 2 एंड सेकंड वन इज बेस 1 एंड थर्ड वन इज डिराइव्ड. सो द कंस्ट्रक्टर, द फर्स्ट वन कंस्ट्रक्टर इज बेस 1, sorry, base 2, second constructor is base 1 and third constructor is derived. So thus here the output is, the first statement is base 2 class constructor, then base 1 class constructor, then derived class constructor, then derived class destructor, then base 1 class destructor, and then base 2 class destructor. So in multiple inheritance we have to cautious more, हमें चेक करना है कि हमने इनहेरिटेंस किस तरीके से किया है, उसी हिसाब से आपका ऑर्डर ऑफ एग्जीक्यूशन ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्टर और ऑर्डर ऑफ एग्जीक्यूशन ऑफ डिस्ट्रक्टर रहेगा. तो इन पॉइंट्स को आपने याद रखना है. And the last point in this inheritance scenario is function overriding. Again, the concept of polymorphism is this. Function overriding is a feature that allows us to have a same function in a child class which is already present in the parent class. जब कभी भी ऐसा होगा कि child class में हमारे पास ऐसा फंक्शन है जिसका सेम सिग्नेचर, सिग्नेचर मीन्स उसका नाम भी सेम है, केस सेंसिटिविटी भी सेम है, और नंबर ऑफ पैरामीटर्स, जो उसके पैरामीटर्स आर्गुमेंट्स हैं वो भी सेम है. जब ये सब कुछ सेम है अपने पेरेंट क्लास के हिसाब से, तो चाइल्ड क्लास का जो मेथड है वो अपने पेरेंट क्लास के मेथड को ओवरराइड कर देता है फंक्शनैलिटीज में. इट इज नोन एज फंक्शन ओवरराइडिंग. इट इज लाइक क्रिएटिंग a new version of an old function in the child class. Definition: when a child class contain a function having same signature as a function in a parent class, then function of a child class overrides the function of a base class. It is known as function overriding. So it is important concept because sometime in this question, in a question paper, 1 mark question may be asked from this scenario. If how function, if function is overridden, then how a child object of a child class can make a call to the parent class. So have a look to the example. Here I made a class parent with the having of method display and written statement I am in a parent class. And in a class child, I inherit publicly parent class, and here again display method is defined. Look here that the nature of the both of the methods are same. They have same name, they have same type of arguments. Display is also, the parent display is also void and the child display is also void. So the signature of the functions in both classes are same. And so I write here I am in a child class, function overriding in a child class. And in a main section, I create an object of child class and write a statement obj.display. The question is, which statement has to be printed when this program execute? जब ये program चलेगा और obj.display को चांस मिलेगा काम करने के लिए, तो वो क्या display करेगा? I am in a child class इसे display करना चाहिए या I am in a parent class इसे display करना चाहिए, क्योंकि दोनों जगह नाम display ही है, वो किस display को कॉल करेगा? तो वही हमने अभी डेफिनेशन में देखा था कि जब भी कभी चाइल्ड क्लास में ऐसा कोई मेथड बनेगा जो अपने पेरेंट क्लास के मेथड के सेम जैसा नाम का होगा, तो हमेशा चाइल्ड क्लास वाला मेथड अपने पेरेंट क्लास वाले मेथड को ओवरराइड करेगा, उसको वो भुला देगा पुराने वाले को और नया वाला ही याद रहेगा. तो ऐसे केस में ऑलवेज गिव्स आउटपुट आई एम इन चाइल्ड क्लास, दैट इज फंक्शन ओवरराइडिंग व्हिच इज रिटन इन चाइल्ड क्लास फंक्शन. How will display method of a parent class get executed from object of a child class? कैसे? हम चाहते हैं कि हमारा object class का ही रहे, child class का ही रहे, लेकिन वो अपने parent class के display को call करे. So I have to write the statement obj dot name of the parent class colon method display. So the statement should be written like that. obj dot parent is a name of a parent class, colon display. So here the name of the parent class has to be written. So here I have the name of the my parent class is parent, so I write here parent. obj dot parent colon display. Now when such statement executed, it display the statement I am in a parent class, not I am in a child class. It display I am in a parent class. So we can make a call to the such methods of the parent class with the scope resolution operator of the class using class name. So dear students, these are the important points which we read earlier, that we have to identify the type of inheritance properly. We must know the nature of access mode of members as well as inheritance, and how much memory occupied by object of a class, that is size of an object, order of execution of a constructor and destructor, and function overriding and invocation of such functions present in a base class of the object. So students, take a break of 5 minutes. I will come again with some previous last year questions and solve them. How to solve them, such questions in front of you. Thank you.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने हम, अपना जीवन स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम, अपना जीवन स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम, स्वयं बने हम,
Welcome students. Again, just revise these points. We have to remember that the type of inheritance, the nature of access mode, the size of an object, especially the size of an object of a child class, order of execution of a constructor and destructor, and function overriding and invocation of such functions present in a base class from the object of a child class. So dear students, now I have some questions from the previous year question papers. I am going to solve those papers, those questions. So the structure of asking this question is like that. We have to read given program carefully and answers the question 1 to 4 after that. So just have a look to the given structure. We have a parent class G floor having some members. Again, G rooms has there is not a mentioning any access mode. So G room is a private by default. Protected, give is a function in a protected section. Take is a function in a public section. Class F floor inherits G floor privately, having some members, and S floor having a parent as a F floor, privately inherit the F floor and having some members. In a main section, we create an object of a parent class. Child class S floor. The first question is, which type of the inheritance illustrate in above example? So for solving this first question, we have to write blocks in a rough area of our answer sheet. So taking the first class, that is G floor, it is an independent class. So I make a mark and write G in it. And another class is F floor. Okay, F floor is the child of G floor. So I write here a new block and write here F, the first name, first character of the class. And last one is S floor. S floor is the child of F floor. So at the bottom of the F, I write here S. And connect these blocks. G is a parent of F. F is the parent of S. Here, G floor is the parent of F floor, and F floor is the parent of S floor. Now you have to remember the 5 type of inheritance which we read earlier or in your books, that we have single level, multiple, hierarchical, multiple and hybrid, multi-level and hybrid inheritance. So the structure of this diagram is similar to the multi-level inheritance. So the first answer of the first question is the inheritance is multi-level inheritance. The next question, write the name of all the members, and again the third question, again write the name of the all members from some other function, and write the name of all members which are accessible from the object of S. So in rough area, you just create a rough sketch of your all classes and write the members as per their access modes. So considering the class F floor class को आप देखें, उसने G floor class को privately inherit किया है, और privately inherit के टाइम पे हमने पढ़ा था कि पब्लिक और प्रोटेक्टेड मेथड जो है प्राइवेट अपने पेरेंट क्लास के, वो प्राइवेट बन जाएंगे. तो हमारे पास दो चीजें हैं, प्रोटेक्टेड गिव प्रोटेक्टेड है और पब्लिक है टेक. दोनों के दोनों चाइल्ड क्लास के प्राइवेट सेक्शन में आ जाएंगे. तो गिव भी यहाँ पे आ जाएगा, फंक्शन गिव फंक्शन, एंड टेक फंक्शन भी यहीं आ जाएगा. Okay, because the type of inheritance is private. So public become private as well as protected become private. And in the case of S floor class, which also inherit privately F floor class, all the public and protected method properties and methods of a F floor class become private in S floor class. So here only public methods are there. So the method get and method put comes under the section private of the child class, that is S floor class. So because the inheritance is private, give, take and F rooms, these 3 members are not accessible in S floor class because they are in private section of the private class. So after making this work out in your rough sheet of the answer sheet, rough area of the answer sheet, now we are going to solve the question number 2. Write the name of all the members which are accessible from the get function. Get function is in the F floor class. So question है, इस get method से कौन कौन से मेंबर, ऑल द मेंबर्स बोला है, तो कौन कौन से मेंबर एक्सेस हो सकते हैं. जब ऑल द मेंबर बोला जाता है तो आपको दोनों चीजें लिखनी होती है, वेरिएबल्स भी, फंक्शंस भी. डाटा मेंबर इज अ वेरिएबल, मेंबर फंक्शन इज अ मेथड्स फंक्शन. सो फ्रॉम द गेट function, the properties, that is a data member, is F rooms, and member functions are give, take and put. So the answer is F rooms, give, take, put. Another question, write the names of all the members which are accessible from the input function. Input function is the function of S floor class. So I have to write all the members which are accessible from the input function. So data members are only one, that is S room, and member functions are 3, output, get, put. So the member functions are output, get and put. The last question is, write the name of all members which are accessible from object S. Now, the last question is, which are the members which are accessible from the object of a class S floor, that is here. We read earlier that the object of a class always access public members, not private nor protecting. So we have to consider only public method of the parent class. So it's a child class. So here as floor having a two public methods, input and output. So the answer of the last question is two functions only, data member none, कोई भी वेरिएबल ऐसा नहीं है जो पब्लिक सेक्शन में है. सो डाटा मेंबर नन एंड मेंबर फंक्शंस इनपुट एंड आउटपुट. अपने पेरेंट के किसी भी पब्लिक मेथड को ये नहीं कॉल कर सका क्योंकि इनहेरिटेंस के टाइम पे यहाँ पे प्राइवेट लिखा था. तो प्राइवेट लिखा होने के कारण उन पब्लिक प्रॉपर्टीज जो कि पेरेंट क्लास की थी उनको वो प्राइवेट बना चुके थे. इसलिए दो ही मेथड कॉल हुए, इनपुट एंड आउटपुट. ओके, हैव अ लुक अगेन. तो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, which type of inheritance is? The parent is G floor, again F floor and S floor. So this type of structure is displayed in a multi-level inheritance. So the answer of the first question is, which type of inheritance illustrated in this example is multi-level inheritance. Now second question, write the name of all members which are accessible from the function get. Okay, the data members are froom, only one, and the member functions are put, take and give. Okay. Third question, write the name of all members which are accessible from the function input. So here data member sroom and member functions output, get, put from the child class S floor. S floor में आउटपुट और गेट पुट फंक्शंस हुए अपने पेरेंट क्लास के. आउटपुट का अपना मेथड है और उसका डाटा मेंबर दैट इज एस. एंड द लास्ट क्वेश्चन, राइट द नेम ऑफ ऑल मेंबर व्हिच आर accessible फ्रॉम द ऑब्जेक्ट एस. डाटा मेंबर नन, ऐसा कोई भी डाटा मेंबर नहीं है जो पब्लिक सेक्शन में लिखा है पूरी क्लास में. और मेंबर फंक्शन दो ही है अपने ही पब्लिक सेक्शन में, इनपुट एंड आउटपुट. This is the last scenario of the answers of this question. That just have a look, and then I will go to the next question. So, considering the next question, here a class digital having some members, private, protected and public. Class print, which is also have some members, PID, protected and public. And third class media, which is inherited from print as well as digital. From print it is inherited as public, and from digital it is inherited as private. Okay, the first question is, which type of the inheritance illustrated in above example? So the students, we have to draw the diagram in rough area of the answer sheet. So digital is an independent class. So I make a box and write D here. Print is also a independent class. So I make another box equivalent to D and write P in it. Media is a child of print as well as digital. So I made here a new box with M, media, and drawing the relationship. Digital is the parent of media and print is also the parent of media. So here the diagram representing multiple inheritance, a child having two or more than two parents, and such type of inheritance is known as multiple inheritance. So the answer of the first question, which type of the inheritance illustrated in the above example, is multiple inheritance. And for the next question, write the name of all the member function which are accessible from the object of class M. So such type of to solving such type of question, I just write the actual position of variables. So the first class is print, which is inherited by media and publicly. So the protected members become protected in a child class. In media, there is no protected section. So I made another section here with protected and two members, that is amount and sequence in protected section. So two members shifted from the class parent to the protected section of the child class. And there is also a function, two function get and print in a public section of the parent class. So public remain public. So these two functions must come under public section. So get should become here, and print of the print class must come here. So after inherit the class print, the child class media has two new members, AMT and sequence, because of protected nature, and two new methods, get and print, because of public nature. Another class, that is digital, inherited privately. So all the protected and public method of the digital class become private. So the private section, they come under the private section of the media class. So here in private section, I have a variable amount of amounts of digital and seconds of a digital class in private section, and of method register, which is public in digital but must be private in media class. After writing these functions and variables in rough area of your answer sheet, now we are going to solve these questions. So question number 2, write the name of all the member functions which are accessible from the object M. From object M, object only access public method. So we have to consider only this section of the media class. So we have a member function, enter, print, get, and print of print class. So only 4 methods which are directly accessible by the object of M. All the member functions, so only 4 member functions, enter, print, get, and print. We cannot write register here answer because register is now residing in private section of the media class. Question number 3, what will be the order of the execution of the constructor? Now students, the inheritance is of type multiple inheritance. So we have to consider which class is inherited first. Here, the constructor of the print class must call first, and then the constructor of digital called second, and then the constructor of media, that is child class, called third. So the order of the constructor of the execution is print, digital, media. So this is the order of the constructor. And the last statement, write statement 2 to call function print of class media, of class print from the object of class media. Here the statement 2, we have to write a statement 2 to make a call to this method. So there is also the function print in the child class. Here it is known as function overriding. So I have to write to call the function of parent class m dot name of parent class. Name of parent class is print, and colon name of the method, and the name of the method is print. So whenever we have to call the function of a parent class, in case of function overriding, then we have to prefix the name of the class with scope resolution operator with the function name. Now look again all the answers. So the inheritance, type of inheritance, digital is the parent, print is the parent, and media is the child. So this is a multiple nature of inheritance. So the answer of the first question is which type of inheritance is multiple inheritance. The next is write the name of the member function. So the member functions are enter, print, print class print. So I differentiate the both print function. This print function is of media class, and this print function is of print class, and get method. And then what will be the order of the execution of the constructor? The order of the execution of the constructor is print, again digital, after that media. So the order of the execution is as per the inheritance structure. The class which is inherited first, constructor should be called first. And the last, write the statement to call the function print of a class print from the object M of class media. So we have to write M dot print colon print as an answer. So have a look
Yes, sir.
to all the questions and answers once again. Yes, sir.
Sir, some questions are coming from the learner.
Yes, sir.
And one learner is asking, if the subclass has the function name
Sir.
same in the base
And-
class,
Anji.
while calling that function, which function will execute, base class or subclass?
From the object of child class.
No, if the subclass has the function name same in base class.
Okay. Again, the question again asked by a student here, that a child class having a function same as of parent class, then which function is executed at the when the object of a child class is called. So when the object of the child class is called, then always it always call the execution to the child class function. So M always calls calling to the print, M dot print of a media class, not the print class. If the object is of a class print, that is a parent class, then it calls its own function, that is a print of a print class. But when in case of child class always make a call to the function. If those functions are under it, then it execute the function of the child class only. Again, the question is same. The last question which in this question paper is the same. कि अगर क्या हो, अगर M ऑब्जेक्ट हमारे चाइल्ड क्लास का है और उसे पेरेंट क्लास के मेथड को कॉल करना है, बाय डिफॉल्ट तो उसे चाइल्ड क्लास के मेथड को ही कॉल करना, अपनी ही क्लास के मेथड को कॉल करना उसे हमेशा। लेकिन अगर उसको पेरेंट क्लास के मेथड को कॉल करना है तो क्या चीज किया जाए जिससे कि वो पेरेंट क्लास के मेथड को कॉल कर सके, तो उस चीज के लिए हमारे पास ये लास्ट है। अगर ऐसा करना है तो फिर हमें लिखना होगा ऑब्जेक्ट डॉट नेम ऑफ अ पेरेंट क्लास कोलन कोलन प्रिंट। तो अगर हमें पेरेंट क्लास के मेथड को कॉल करना है तो प्रीफिक्स करना है अपने पेरेंट क्लास के नाम को अपने मेथड के साथ। अगर अपने ही मेथड को कॉल करना है तो प्रीफिक्स की जरूरत नहीं है, तो हम सीधा लिख सकते हैं m डॉट प्रिंट डायरेक्टली। इट ऑलवेज मेक ए कॉल टू द फंक्शन ऑफ ए करंट क्लास ओनली, दैट इज चाइल्ड क्लास।
सर एक और क्वेश्चन आया है,
यस सर।
in multiple inheritance, how
Okay, sir.
to calculate the size of the object?
Okay, we are again taking this only example. Before this also, the question asked by the student is that how we will calculate the size of object of child class, that is a M. What is the size of M? Okay, media class has two parents, print and a digital. So go to the digital. Int ID is of 2 bytes. Float amount is 4 bytes. Float second is 4 byte. So 4 plus 4 plus 2, 6. So class digital, the object of the class digital is 6 byte. And the size of the print class, another parent, 2 byte PID, 4 byte amount, 2 byte squint. There is no other variable, so the size is 4 plus 2 plus 2, that is 8. So the size of the print class is 8. Now comes to the media class. Media class has only one variable, int MID. Int MID is a size of 2 bytes. So the child class is the collection of all the members of a parent class plus its own members. So we have to sum up all these values: 6 bytes of the digital, 8 bytes of the print, and 2 bytes of the digital, media child class. After summing up all the values, the answer is 16. So the size of the object of M object is 16 bytes. So this is how to calculate the size of object if inheritance is multiple inheritance.
Sir, another learner is Akash from Himachal, and he is asking, please
Yes, sir.
give some example on hybrid inheritance.
Okay. Again, I am considering same example here. I have a class super and class digital inherited this super and class print is also inherited class super, and rest of the remain as it is same. So here the most top of the class is super S, digital D, print another class P, and the child class is media. Now drawing the inheritance, digital class is a child of super, okay, and print class is also a child of super, and then digital is the parent of M, and print is also the parent of media. So this is the structure of hybrid inheritance. The problem is only one in the case of hybrid inheritance. For example, I have a function here public. In public nature, I have some function like go, and I want to make a call from object M to go. At the moment, it gives the error. It says that M, the go function having two separate paths from object M, because the go function of S is called via media digital super and via media print super. So compiler doesn't know from where the invocation of the go should be done. So the solution is, in such a case, when we inherit such classes, we have to inherit as virtual. So we have to put up here keyword virtual at the time of inheritance. Class digital colon virtual super, class print colon virtual super. So there is a common path comes directly from the super to the M. So the singular path, so that M object can make a call to the go. So this is the hybrid inheritance.
Sir, due to time constraint, we will take one last question, and the question is:
Okay,
can
sir.
an object be a subclass of another object?
Can an object be a?
Subclass of another object.
Can an object be a subclass of another object?
Another object.
Objects can be a part of a variable within a class. It may be, for example, here class print having an object of class digital. It may be possible because variables, each class having some properties, and properties are defined with the help of variables. So, like a normal variable, a class may contain the object of another class. It may contain the object of another class. So print class may have a object of digital class, or digital class may have an object of print class as it is.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
And I hope the learners, they must have got their answers. So
Thank you,
learners-
students. Thank you for your queries. Best of luck for your exams. Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thanks for NOS team. Thank you, sir.